Yes. Okay, so now we are going to open this wave 1. Okay, so now I'm going to create a copy of this application, and in second application. Okay, transfer the value. Okay, no problem. So now I'm going to create a copy of wave 1, and this example we will try to create, try to understand what is the use of ServletConfig. Is Servlet. Index.html. Here we are passing the value of now I'm going to change this. Suppose admin login. Suppose we want to create a login program for admin. Okay, and we can remove this. We have not into this. And from action, demo, text, username and password. Okay, and we have a web.xml. So we can store some information in this web.xml. Okay, so we have a servlet, demo servlet, and this is a description of demo servlet. Okay, so within this servlet tag, we can declare some values like, so for this purpose, servlet, we have a tag, subtag of servlet name is init param. Okay, in this init param, we can declare some values. Subtag of init param is param name, okay, and param value, and param values. Okay, so suppose here we have declared the param name is means variable name. Suppose as add, sorry, control admin name. Okay, only, and the admin name is, sorry. Okay, so we can store some information in web.xml. Okay, within servlet tag. Okay, same as we can store another values, like suppose we want to store password. So here password is a at the rate 123. The XML file also holds some data, so we can store some information in XML file. But here we are storing the values within that servlet tag. So we can access these values within this servlet. We cannot access these values in another servlet. That is the benefit of this declaration. We have declared these values, admin and password, within servlet tag, and the servlet name is demo and servlet class is demo. So we can use these values only within this servlet, demo servlet. We cannot use these values in another servlet. That is the benefit. So the security purpose, it is most secure then another ways. Okay, so here I save admin value and password. So how to get these values? So for this purpose, we can get these values from the XML file. So how to get these values? So we have ServletConfig, the interface is a reference variable of ServletConfig, and get Servlet. Okay, so get Servlet config method is a fifth method of Servlet interface. So we can call this method directly. Okay, and we can import this Servlet config. Okay, after that we want to get the values. So config, we have a method name is get init parameter, and the parameter name is admin. We can save this value of admin in a variable like okay, same as we can get another values of web.xml, name is password. Okay, so we can get the values from the web.xml. After that, these values we will get from the client side, and in ADM and pass, uh, we can save the value, the actual value of admin and password. Now we can check it. So here, ADM, and here declare is a pass. If condition is true, so uh, here we are getting the actual value from the web.xml through the servlet config, and we can check that values. We can compare these values with the client values. Okay, now we are going to execute this. Surya and add the 123. Click on login. Welcome, Surya. Okay. So here you can see here, if we will declare a wrong values in login, like suppose here admin, okay, and here we can declare values. Click on login. So you can see incorrect username or password. Okay. So here we are passing the values. This file through this front-end program, we can transfer the value from the client side, and through the config, servlet config, we can get the values from the web.xml file. So if we declared any values within the servlet tag, so we can access only through this servlet. Okay, we cannot access this value in another servlet. So if we want to access the values for another servlets, so we have another option. Okay, so for this purpose, I am going to create a copy of this application. Hello, Surya. Any doubt? Any queries? It's okay. Okay, good. Now I'm going to use servlet config. Okay, sorry, servlet context. That is example of servlet context, servlet config. But now we are going to create an example of servlet context. What is servlet context? Actually, web container create a object of servlet context interface at the time of execution. Okay, so in servlet config, if we have a one servlet, so it will create one object of servlet config. If we have 50 servlet, then web container create 50 objects of servlet config. But if we have a single servlet, web container create object of servlet context, only one object of servlet context. But suppose we have 50 servlet. In this case, web container create only one object of servlet context. That is the difference between servlet context and servlet config. Servlet context, servlet config object, separate object for separate servlet. But servlet context object, only one object of a application. It's not depends on the number of servlet. If our application have only single servlet, so it web container create only single servlet uh, context object. If 50 object, 50 servlet of within application, no problem. Servlet config, uh, web container create only one single object of servlet context. It's not depend on the number of servlet. Okay, so actually, web container create a servlet context object of a application. Okay, so if we will declare any values in a web XML, so all servlet can access that values. Okay, because servlet context have only single object. So now we are going to create an example of servlet context. So first of all, I'm going to create a copy of this application. Okay, so this is web.xml. Now I'm going to remove this edit method. We want to declare the values outside of the servlet tag. Okay, so for this purpose, we have a tag name is context param. Okay, this context param have, we can remove this. I'm going to declare simply this Servlet context param. It will declare outside of the servlet tag. We cannot declare within the servlet. Okay. So this tag has subtag name is param name and param value. Okay. We can declare like username and username like user1. Okay, and we are going to declare the password. Password is a okay. So the values of context param, because it will declare outside of the servlet tag. So we can access these values in any servlet, no problem. But if we will declare init param, that will declare within the servlet. So we can access only a particular servlet. That's the difference between servlet context and init param. So here I have declared a username and password. If we want to access this value of XML, so we can use servlet context. Okay, so for this purpose, open this. Okay, so you can remove this. First of all, at the place of servlet config, we will use servlet context. Okay, and here use context.get edit parameter saying context.get parameter. Here username and password. Okay, servlet. Okay, so if we want to access that values of servlet context param, so here first of all create the object of servlet context. After that, use get edit parameter and get the values from the web.xml. So here we can declare user. It's true, then it will show welcome password. Otherwise, it will show incorrect username or password. Now I'm going to execute this application. Okay, here we are passing admin and this click on login. Let's show incorrect username or password. If here we declared user1 and password is abc@123 abc. Okay, and click on login. You can see welcome user1 and password abc@123. So these values, if we will declare the values in context param, So we can use these values in any servlet within the application. But if we will declare in init param, these values in init param, so we can use only that particular servlet where we have declared. Okay. Any doubt? Any queries? Okay, good. Now, we are going to another way that is called session tracking. Okay, session tracking means if we want to access any value that is already stored in session, so we can access. So how to we can access? So we have four methods. First is cookies. Second is HTTP session. Third is hidden form. And fourth is URL rewriting. Okay. So we have two options or four options for session tracking. If uh, we want to save some values in session, so we can access the value of session through these four ways: cookies, HTTP session, hidden form feed, and URL rewriting. So one by one, we will try to create the example of this session tracking. So we can store some values in the session, and if when we have requirement of that value, we can access from the session. So we have four methods: cookies, HTTP session, hidden form feed, and URL rewriting. So first of all, it is very easy: hidden form feed. So how to use hidden form feed? So now I'm going to create example of session tracking. So first of all, I'm going to create a copy of web1. Okay. Suppose we want to get, we have here, we are passing the some values like username and password. Okay, but suppose we want to uh, pass some values, but uh, you can see here, each and everything will display in this web in this form. But suppose we want to pass any values with this form, okay, without showing here. So we can create a hidden form field like input type is equal to hidden name is equal to, suppose you want to pass any hidden values from the form through the form, like suppose we want to pass any hidden values like email, suppose. Declare your value like this is a value. Okay. Okay. Now, uh, if we want to execute this 7, here you can see this. I'm going to execute this application, and I'm passing only a hidden values also. Okay, you can see here it's showing only username and password. Okay, so we can pass only 2 values, but we can get 3 values in backend. So suppose this is a demo. Here we can get other values like CSS and mail is equal to s dot get email, and if condition is true, then it also show the email. Okay, now I'm going to execute this. So we can pass hidden values through the form. Okay, now here I'm passing values like Surya and admin 123 and click on login. Then you can see here it shows welcome Surya, password and email address also. So we can pass some hidden values from the front end also. Okay, we want to send another values like name is equal to value is equal to mobile number. Okay. So this is mobile number of any person. So we can send multiple values from the client side through the form. So here we can get these values. Mobile number. Okay. Now again, I'm going to execute this. Okay, here we are passing only 2 values, username and password, but it will provide me email address, mobile number also. So we can pass multiple values through the form from front end to back end. Okay, due to the form feed. Okay, hello. Okay, so now, yes, one by one. Okay, now suppose we want to use HTTP session. So now I'm going to create a copy of wave1. And suppose we want to create example of HTTP session. So for this session, HTTP session is also interface. Okay. Okay. So suppose we want to we are trying to pass username and password, and we want to save these values in session, HTTP session. Okay. So for this purpose, we use HTTP session. Session is equal to request dot get session. Okay. We want to get the values. So session set attributes. So session provides us a method. Name is set attribute. To the set attribute, we can set the values in the session. So suppose here first there are two parameter, argument 0 and argument 1. So first argument 0 is a, here we can declare the name of variable like user. It is a variable name, and the value of this user is USR, that is already saved in USR. Okay, so to the uname we will get the values, and we will already save in USR, and this value we will save in session, same as session set attributes, declare another value, a variable like PWD. You can declare any other like okay, and here values is a p pass is a variable name. The value of this variable is PSS, and PSS already contain the password, and user is another variable, and the value of the variable is a USR. USR contain the value of uname that provides client. We can check this, and suppose we have set this. Okay, after that, now I'm going to remove this from here. So through this, it will set the values in the session. Okay, so now I'm going to use a request dispatcher. After setting the values in session, it will call the index.html. So request dispatcher rd is equal to request dot request dispatcher, and here we can specify the name of page index.html. Okay, and this is a request dispatcher. After that, we have a method name is include, and here this is a request and response. Okay, and here we can pass the values like print writer out is equal to response dot the out can send the message. Will show it should be show a message values saved in session. I want to display this message. Okay, and after that dot print body and html is a dynamic page. So I'm trying to display if it will set the values in session, then it will show valued saved in session. Okay, now I'm going to execute this application. Click on next. Let's say web 8. Click OK. Okay, so here declare admin anything admin ABC that it went to check click on login value saved in session. Okay, so this is the method we can store the values in the session. Suppose we want to get the values of the session. So for this purpose, suppose here this is servlet. So we can create another servlet like this test servlet. We want to access the value from the session. Okay. So for this purpose, I'm going to create another servlet. Name will be test. So click on servlet. Click on next, next, and I think we are using post. No, let's get. No problem. We can same values get and click on finish. Okay, and in test we want to access the value of session. Okay, so now I'm going to remove this. How to get the values? So first of all, HTTP get the object of HTTP session. HTTP session. So session is equal to this dot get session. Okay. After that, just another method name is get attribute. And here we can declare the variable. So I think you have remember we have said in a variable name is a user and pass. So through the user and pass we can get the values from the session. So this is variable name, and now we can save this value in variable USR, but it's showing error. Okay, so actually it has the reason is type casting. So please here type any string. Okay, then it will show. Okay, same as we can get the values of password. So second variable name is pass. So to the pass we can pass the password. Okay. And here suppose we can declare any variable name. Okay, and suppose we want to show these values. So we can use here and this we want to display these values. So now I'm going to open last application. Actually, I'm going to copy paste. Okay, at the place of creating meeting. So here only. Okay, this. Okay, copy this and paste in this demo. Sorry, test. So I want to display this values. So here password and username. Okay, so we can remove this. Thanks. Values. Okay, here we can also use a underline and username. Username is a USR. To the USR, we can display the value password, the PWD. Okay. And it's showing error. So for this purpose, we can print writer equal to response dot get writer. Okay. So now import this. Now we can create the and create the HTML. Okay. Okay. Now I'm going to execute this. So now I'm going to execute this application. So run this program. Okay, here pass Surya and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, click on login. Okay, so it shows values saved in session. Okay, now we want to access this from the session. So I will access this value in another page. Okay, so click on Servlet. You can see the username is Surya, password is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That is the session values. So to the session, to the cookies, to the URL protect, URL to the form field, we can through the session we can store the values in session, and if we have need of that values, we can access that values in any servlet in the application. Okay, understood? So through the session we can access the values from any servlet in the application. Okay, so through this method, first of all, get the values from the user end. After that, get the object of session and set the values in the session. And if you have need the object of that session, so you can create the object of session. Okay, after that, through the get attribute, we can get the values from the session. Understood? Hello. Okay. And cookies and URL pattern we will try in next session. Okay, so now I'm going to share these application. Please try to please check it. If you have any doubt, any queries, you can share me and try to create your own application, your code, your own example. Okay, Surya? Okay. So I think 5, date 5, okay. Please check it and try to create your own example. Okay, if you have any doubt, any queries, please let me know.